I'm here with Epiphany Hightower. We are two complete strangers who met on the internet through our Girl Talk Sports account. So we're really just going to jump into it and have a little conversation here just about how we connected and maybe chat a little bit sports as well, even though on this account, sports seems to be the last thing we ever actually talk about. There's never any like stats or scores or anything
Right.
here. But Epiphany, hi, pleasure to meet you. So I saw you were one of our followers, and I just sort of like love to know what attracted you to the account and made you want to, I guess, become part of this Girl Talk Sports community.
Yes, well, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for reaching out. So first of all, it's the title, Girls Talk Sports. So, I've always been, younger, like I've always loved talking about sports to people. And sometimes growing up, you know, there was not a lot of women who I could necessarily share like information with. Like, oh, like
Mhm.
if I watched this NBA game and I'm like, oh my God, Blake Griffin went crazy. Oh my God, did you see the Clippers? It was like no woman in school or whatever, except for like my mom, that I could like talk to about sports and they would like know what I'm talking about. So that's what really made me follow. And just your content. I love, the community building around women and girls talking about sports. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I have not seen a Blake Griffin like poster dunk in a long time.
yes.
Good hops. Good hops. I think like Nate Robinson, as much as he was like a shorter guy, was one of maybe the only other people I was always just so impressed with just how high
Yes,
went
definitely.
off. But yeah, so thanks so much for following us. And I think right before we logged on, you let me know that you are right now finishing up some education around communications and sports and such. So would you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Oh, yes. I am officially, since it's August, 3 months away, or no, 2 months away. 2 months away from finishing my master's degree in professional communications. I'm super duper excited about it. I've always been a fan of, of the media, of telling great stories in all sectors. I'm also a writer, so like, being able to tell fiction and nonfiction work has always been a passion of mine and connect with people. I'm a talker, and I love to, yes, and I love to communicate with people and, and just, be around like, community. I think it's important. And I think media, it has a way of bringing communities together. So I think that's important. That's what really drew me to, that career field and, going to pursue graduate school. And like I told you, like before, like I started conversations with Epiphany a year ago in order just to, connect with more people and bring more people together and for people to tell their stories. And I think that's important in the world, just people telling their stories no matter what they are.
And what are you talking about over at Conversations with Tiffany?
Yes, so I've spoken with a lot of great people, a lot of coaches, ex-athletes, authors, and really it's just about how they got started to where they are today, and like and everything in between. Like you see the hard work or you see the glory, but you don't know like in between those steps, like what was it, and how they became very successful at whatever they're doing. So I think that's important. And I just, I be I'm the quiet one and I just let them talk and tell their stories. And, so I really appreciate everybody that has come on my show thus far. And, and like it's always funny when I get interviewed by people because it's like, oh, because like I said, I'm a talker. I love to talk, but I know how to be quiet sometimes. So I think I love, the switching of the roles. So conversations with Epiphany has been very, exciting for me just to listen to what other people have to say.
And what have been some of the standout stories that you've heard?
Well, let's see. Well, I interviewed a woman who survived domestic violence and cancer, and how she has turned her pain into a beautiful story. And how she's making that story, she's making a film about her life. And I thought that that was very inspirational. How, talk about women who have been through abusive situations and how they made it on to the other side. And I think that was really a powerful story from Angel. So I really appreciate her story.
Oh, that's awesome. I think if you send us the link, I'll try to add it to the bio or the description so people can connect over to your platform.
Definitely. Thank you.
And you mentioned, well, obviously you're an author, so I have a question for you.
Mhm.
I've been hearing a lot about these sports romance books, and I've taken a look at a few of them, some
Right.
fandom, some fan fiction, and we
Right.
have a lot of followers on Threads who are also heavily into sports romance. So, what do you know about that world, and what do
Mhm.
we need to learn more about this
Right.
whole world of sports romance?
It's so funny that you said that because I'm one of those people who have written like a sports romance. Yeah.
Yes.
The concept, like it first started when I was an undergrad in a creative writing class. And at that time I had no idea that I wanted to write, or anything, but like it's about a sports journalist who is covering an NBA game who falls in love. The story falls in love with a NBA player. It's actually like right now in it's a short story in Intellectual Ink magazine.
Oh,
It's called Love on Fire. It follows Mona Lisa and Idris. So yeah,
you
so
say Idris?
yep, Idris exactly.
Okay, I know. So it was either Damson Idris or Idris Elba. Who was the inspiration there?
Back then, like this was like in 2016. So it was definitely
Okay,
Idris Elba. It was
okay, there we
Elba
go.
who was
There.
and it gives like I've always been a fan of Love Jones, so it adds a little poetry in there that
Oh, nice.
yes, so he's not only an NBA player, but he, is a writer as well. And just add that like, nuance in there. So yes, Love on Fire, yes.
Yeah, one of or some of my earliest posts were like poetry around sports, and I thought,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, people are gonna think I'm like crazy putting this up here, but I did it anyway. So it's
Right.
nice to see that there are other people who connect
Yes.
poetry to sports.
Right. Yes. Yes. It's like poetry in motion. Like I feel like it all just combines itself. So yeah.
And then now back to the sports romance.
Mhm.
So I always have these little like stories in my head around these athletes. So what you're
Right.
saying is I should start writing these down.
Definitely. Definitely. Yes, most definitely. It's just like it's so like, oh, like this could happen and then this could happen and then this, just like, the imagination that it could. Like, yeah, so
Just
definitely.
run wild. We had there was one member of our community who had created a tennis.
Mm.
I don't know if I can't remember if it was a romance or not, but it was like a tennis related novel, kind of following someone's life in the city, I believe. So
Mm.
I think there's so many sports where it's sort of like interesting to create like literature around it.
Very much so. Yes. It gives a
So do
little
you
zest.
do you think that's something you'll be able to pursue sort of in tandem with like your communications journalism career?
You know what? I definitely feel like it. I want to, like that, like something that, just combines itself like naturally. But like my very first book that I like published was called Someone Like You, and that, it's not a sports, novel per se, but it just deals in like the romance genre. So,
Mhm.
but I do find it interesting when it comes to sports and romance and like how it's, it kind of combines itself, especially since the like reality shows of WAGs and things
Yeah.
like that. It's just undeniable to talk about. Like, and especially like, today, like a lot of R&B girlies are with professional athletes.
Yes.
They sing about love and then so I don't know, like I feel like that just it combines itself, even if it's not like trying to necessarily, it just happens.
Yeah. Well, I also saw that parallel because, as you know, a great chunk of our content is around sports and
Right.
romance. And
Right.
it is really for the reasons you said. I think It really combines itself when you see people out there working really hard at something. You kind of wonder, well, what's their personal life like? And you like to see them be happy and have little wins. So we
Exactly.
definitely, we're talking about like Cardi B and stuff
Right,
on
right,
Diz or Jalen Hurts. And,
right.
sometimes whenever I make that content, I'm
Mhm.
like, are people going to think, I'm like a lovesick teenager? But really, I think
Right,
myself and a lot of people, we
right,
love romance and the
right,
idea of love, even
right.
if no comment on how it might be going in your personal
Personal
life if
life,
you're
right?
cold-hearted, but we like to
Right,
dream a
right,
little bit.
right, right. And I think it like what you said, like, like you work hard at your craft and also like behind the scenes, a good, healthy life where like love, romantic, you would think that has to be healthy as well, to like succeed in whatever level you are on, sports, singing, TV, journalism, like whatever may have you. So I feel like it's all ties together.
Yeah, I really think that's the support that if you have that stability, whether with your family or with your significant other, it really kind of allows you to go out and like perform your best. Like there were some teams I would follow like their season via like a documentary.
Right.
And a lot of the content would be around their home life, so you really see
Right.
how their spouse is
Mhm.
like moving stuff every time they move or getting the kids off to school and all
Right.
that behind the scenes that like you don't see when the game is being played to me
Right.
is like what's really interesting about sports.
Exactly. Right. And this month, August, is National Romance Month. So
Is
it
it?
is. You would think it's February, but it's August. It is National Romance Month, August. So yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna have to put something out to celebrate it. How are you celebrating it?
I said I'm going to because my first book's called Someone Like You. So I always had this vision of like asking singles as well as people who are married, like for the singles, what are you looking for in your someone like you? And like in different age groups, because in different age groups it's different, your 20s may be different from your 40s, 60,
Yeah.
so what are you looking for in your someone like you? And the people that are married, when did you know that this person was your someone like you? Like the one you've been looking for, like, yes, this is it, so maybe like something like that, like online, like, hey, couples, like, like how if you're single, if you're married, let me
Mhm.
know what you're looking for and what you found. So yeah.
That's awesome. Like I think half the time I haven't quite known what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It's more of like a feeling,
Right,
so to
right,
speak, not
right.
like certain specific qualities, but
Exactly. Hmm.
I think a lot of times, like people may find you before you find them. And I don't know if that's always a good thing.
Yes, that's good. That is true. That is true. They said it happens at the most unexpected time. So, like, yeah.
Yes, I'm going to pick up my trash 5 times today and hope it happens.
Right. It could work. It'd be like, oh, like you just bump into somebody, oh, excuse me. Like, oh, like it
Beg
could.
your
Oh,
pardon,
yeah,
handsome sir.
exactly. Exactly.
But I think too, for like a lot of those older couples, one
Right.
thing I'm always interested in is like the actual journey, because I
Mhm.
think a lot of people make it out to be this like, oh, we met and we fell in love and it was
Right.
amazing. And the
Mhm.
older I'm getting, the more I'm learning, our parents and like aunts and stuff, they hid this from us, but they go through some tough times.
Right, right, right. Sometimes like, oh, because I read this post. It was like, picking a life partner, your spouse is so important because they're going to see you through, especially like in the beginning. Like I'm 28, like both my parents, are healthy. They're good, but of course, age and then that comes and then you don't want somebody that's like, why are you like why are you crying? Why are you this? Why are you
Yeah.
that? Definitely a partner that's understanding, especially like, yeah, like somebody you can lean on in tough times. So I think that's a big one, a huge, huge one.
One,
Yes.
because that person can be cool and have the
Right.
swag and whatnot, but
Right.
will they change a colostomy if they have to? I mean, sorry to go there, but let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you
Are
gonna
they
go
like,
there?
is it gonna be like, like, is it really like what they said in the vows to death do us part. You know, it's like
Yeah,
I hate saying that word, but it's true. You know, it's true.
true.
Yeah, it is true.
And like right now, there have been, and you touched on it too, quite a few of these like, athlete,
Mhm.
entertainer, either pairings or marriages. What do you think is spurring that? Do you think they're just more bumping into each other now? Or like I honestly think they have a lot of similarities, like
Mhm.
entertainers and
Right.
athletes. But what do you think is maybe spurring all these relationships we're seeing?
Right, because like the first couple, well, that the whole like to me and Grant Hill, like to me that's like the first couple, like
Oh,
you would
OG.
think, the
We're going
OGs, right?
back.
Like
Yeah.
bring it all the way back. That he married and dated, and also SWV Coco and Eddie George, like their pairing, like
Throw Jackie and Doug Christie in there
right.
too. Can't leave Jackie out of this
Let me
one.
check you out, right? So I think, like you said, I think sometimes like they run in the same circles. And then, of course, with those couples, like this is before way like social media, you can hop in DM and be like, hey, so it's like you just had to like meet just organically, like, oh, okay, like I see you out and about or whatever. And so I do believe they have like personality wise is similar, but in a good way because an athlete like especially an athlete who's top of the game, they're personas kind of like, they have to be like, like may have this macho and then the woman who's also at her top of her game, when it comes to music and whatever may have you is like she's at like I don't know, like it has to like it's a balance out of softness, but egos are not in the middle of creating a beautiful, healthy relationship. So I think that's also important too. Like as long as nobody lets the ego get in the way, I think.
Yeah.
Like we're both great in our own fields, like so I think that's important. Yeah. No one trying to
Yeah.
be the light of nobody else.
No, and I think what's great is like they're both like at the top of their profession. So,
Right.
whether it's like Normani or Coco or like Megan the Stallion with
Right.
Clay or DK Metcalf,
Right.
they are all like at the top of their game. And
Right.
some of the parallels I saw was they are used to touring or like always being on the road and away from
Right.
home. So
Yeah.
they're able to like understand that, hey, I'm not going to be a 9 to 5 here year round type of partner.
That is such a great point because a lot of people, would have a problem with their spouse. And I always say it takes a strong spouse because I'm like, like me, like hopefully I'll be traveling a lot, doing what I love to do, but also be married, in a healthy marriage, that I love. But also there's an understanding of like, I'm still your spouse, but I also love what I do. And hopefully you love what you do. It's just that my profession takes me away more than maybe yours would, or, whatever. But, someone like that doesn't try to dim my light, because like I'm like, you already knew what I was trying to do or doing before we even got to a point of marriage or
Exactly.
anything like that. So I think yeah, that's a great thing. Because a lot of people can't do that. Like long, like
No, a lot of people can't deal with that. And like, I'll try to put this all together in a video, but there's that. And then there's also the fact that they're both used to fame. So they're both used to people like stopping them and asking them questions. They're
Mhm.
used to like signing contracts and, the
Right.
sort of like stress that goes around
Right.
that. And also,
Exactly.
they have to perform. One has to perform with album
Mhm.
sales, the other has to perform on the field.
Exactly.
So they're both like sort of under so much pressure in their position. So when I saw all these like, athletes and singers getting together, I was like, it makes
Right.
sense. They're actually so similar on so many
Right.
levels.
Very. That's so true. Yeah. Like, because maybe they couldn't, well, maybe they could be with somebody who, as long as they're used to or they know what to expect out of this person. Like, they're not going to be home 6 months out of a year. They're gonna be doing what they have to do. So I think that's the understanding part. Because a lot of people say, yeah, I got it, yeah, I got it. But when the time comes, it's like, oh, you were serious. I'm like, like, yeah. So yeah, I think that's important.
And are there any couples you'd like to see maybe get together? Any parents
Mhm.
out there?
let's see. Oh Lord. Well, any couples. Let's see. Oh, who do I like? Like who? Because everybody I like, they pretty much already with their, they got.
Oh, is there? So let's play it this way. Who are some of the single athletes, and let's try to pair them with someone.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna start with. Let's start with Kevin Durant. Like he's,
Oh my gosh,
he's
like the ultimate.
the ultimate. I'm like he is singles. I'm like, who would I?
Would be paired. You know what? With KD, he's like a laid back guy. He's all
Yeah.
about basketball. Like he
Right,
sleeps and breathes basketball, but he's
right,
retiring soon.
right. Yes.
So
Mhm.
I'm thinking when he retires and he's not going to be playing as much anymore, he has a lot of businesses on
Right.
the go right now,
Yeah.
and
Because
he's a
he
gamer. So
right. And he's like in his mid-30s or something like that.
yeah, I
So
think so.
uh,
His
ooh.
mom says he can clean a bathroom. I've
Okay.
like seen that.
That's always a good thing.
But I feel like he's gonna need someone like a little bit,
Right.
maybe more business oriented.
I was just about to say that like more business, like on the business end, like maybe like a business lawyer or like something
Yes,
like that, or one
someone
that
along those lines. And I
yes,
can't think of any popular or famous business
single popular,
lawyers at
yeah.
the moment.
Neither. Yeah. But someone like that, like
Yeah,
someone
someone like that.
who doesn't need, like, she doesn't need the spotlight as well. Like, she's a part of the spot, but she's not like always like cameras are in her face, like, oh my gosh, like, but
Yeah, someone who doesn't need to be at the forefront and is not
right.
like in the relationship to be spotted and whatnot.
Exactly.
Because I think for the most part he's usually low key. But to be honest, some of these partners that they're choosing are not always,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't seem like good matches, and later on come to
Right.
haunt
Right.
them.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why it's so beautiful to see like these relationships end up in like engagement and then like walking down the aisle. And so I was like, well, that's nice, to see that like flourish that
Yeah.
so beautifully like that. So I think that's really nice.
So I'm gonna think of one of the maybe the WNBA players. Now I know there's Angel Reese. I actually don't think she's single. I think she
I think that he's an NBA player.
yeah,
I think that yeah, they're in a relationship together. So yeah, I think she's in a relationship with him. That's
yeah, she didn't really it's not really like crazy public, but she
right.
him. I've heard her mention like,
Right.
her boo or whatever
Right.
on like a TikTok. So
Yeah.
who else? Who else is out there single? I'm trying to think.
Uh,
It's like everyone's coupled up.
it is like everyone is like boot up. Either like they're
Oh, Jamar Chase. I don't think Jamar
okay.
Chase.
He's single. Okay,
I think
okay.
he's
He's
single.
he's
Okay.
single. Yeah, because it's always funny because it's always like you don't know like they could be in a long relationship and like like they're just gonna pop out when they get engaged
Maybe
or when they
like Taylor Rooks, just pop out at your
exactly that
wedding.
exactly pop out. I was like that's so good. And I think that's a good thing to do. Like at least
Yeah.
engaged or pop out like like or like you pop out, then a month later you're engaged and be like, y'all just stay dating. And be like, no, we were dating for about 2 years. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, like we have a baby on the way.
exactly.
So I mean, that's
Exactly.
why this is always in good fun, just like a little speculative. But for him, I would love someone like, oh my gosh, now is to think who the single girls are
Right.
on the other side. Is Kiki Palmer single? Because
Think she is single. I think
I feel like she needs an
uh,
NFL boo.
with the end of you think so. Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
think
And
so.
that would be cute. That would be very, her acting and, him, NFL and that would be cute. That would be cute.
That or like maybe a tennis player or golfer,
Right,
we
go.
can switch
Yeah,
sports, but I feel
exactly.
like she needs an athlete with like actual like coins like coming in because she's at the top of her game and she
Right.
like keeps propelling herself. And I think
Right.
like someone like that would be like just very supportive and also like, business minded to kind of understand
Exactly.
the contracts and stuff she goes through.
Exactly. And like I always said, it's so good to be with someone who supports you in your career. Like you never want to be with somebody who's like who downs you, like your career, what you want to do. So I think that's important. And I think that's why all these couples are getting together because it's a mutual understanding. So
Yeah. And so I've had you talking about sports romance when you're fully like graduating in 2 months. But once you graduate, what would be that dream job? You know, sky's the limit. We're not holding ourselves to any location or type of
Exactly.
job. Like what
Amen.
what would you want to be doing out in the world?
You know, a mixture of I love sports, but I also love like lifestyle, like books, like so I love one day interview the coach for the Giants, the next day interview the New York Times bestselling author, you know what I mean? Or interview a doctor who's coming up with this amazing cure or doing this for either cancer or like things like that or different things like that. So just combining it all, like combining like everything that I love to do, like telling people stories,
Mhm.
writing, producing content. Those are like all the things that so anything like that. I always say I want to be Oprah, but like, just like, like Oprah, just with like, just it, but a little bit more into sports,
Yeah,
but yes.
if Oprah was a Giants fan.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And sometimes with some of those people from our past, I really do wonder if they were into sports and it's
Mhm.
just something they didn't really talk about
Yeah.
because I maybe a year ago
Mhm.
realized Vivica A. Fox is like a huge sports fan.
Really? Wow.
But like I didn't know that about her. But
Right.
I always see her like liking like sometimes our content, a lot of
Mhm.
like other content. She's
Right.
at games like WNBA
Yes.
games supporting
Yeah,
women,
I've seen her. Yeah.
huge football fan.
Mhm.
So I think sometimes once you start prodding at people,
Right.
you find out, hey, maybe they liked or played some
Right.
ball or something.
Exactly. Like, oh, like you like this team? Oh, okay, that's cool. Like, like so yeah. That's so true.
Well, I see we're running out of time on our free Zoom.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm on free Zoom. I don't have
Yes, the
money.
best.
So I'll probably end it there. But Epiphany, it was so amazing chatting with you and learning a little bit more about you. And I hope you'll come back and chat with us.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for having me.
All right. Till next time.
Bye-bye.